Nicole, it's amazing to have you join us for our Startup Experts partner profile. Would you mind introducing yourself and tell us a little bit about Manifest Law?
Sure. So, as you wonderfully have introduced me, I am Nicole Gunara, the principal immigration attorney here at Manifest. A lot of my work is actually focusing on legal strategy and also the legal operations of our wonderful organization. But to really express what Manifest Law is and what makes us a bit different from a traditional law firm is that we are very much also a tech firm. We do believe very strongly in pairing exceptional, wonderful attorneys with the best in class technology and tech stack in order to accelerate, streamline, and really redefine what it means to do legal practice, and also how clients and individual customers interact with legal practice. Sometimes it feels like a little bit of a black box. Sometimes when you work with a lawyer, it's not clear exactly what is happening. And we really believe that we can really open up the doors to really show people what it means to hire a lawyer and to get something done in this space.
Yeah, and we're really excited to be partnering with your firm here at Startup Experts. Very excited to share more about what you and your team can do for our members. But more specifically, can you walk us through how you would engage with somebody on our team?
Yeah, so if somebody were really, really interested in doing, let's say, US inbound immigration, I want to move to the United States, I want to be able to start my own company, develop and direct that company. How it works is that we do an initial consultation. We try to figure out, what are your short term objectives? What are your long term objectives? And who are you as a person? Or maybe what is your dream as a company, right? Once we get a lot of that information in, we do try to set aside or set down a roadmap and a plan on how to achieve both those short term and long term goals. Once we kind of settle on a plan, we get you onboarded onto the platform after like an engagement and after we kind of settle down the terms of what that looks like as a roadmap. And then we start hitting the ground running in terms of establishing the things that you need to establish in order to achieve that roadmap and even giving you resources to hit those objectives at points, which does make us a little bit distinguishable maybe from what people traditionally expect out of a lawyer. All to culminate in achieving what does need to be achieved to get yourself settled here in the United States moving forward. So that's kind of what it really looks like when it comes to working with Manifest or interacting with Manifest, to say the least.
That's great. No, thank you for sharing that. And what challenges are you helping companies and individuals overcome in the immigration process? I know there's a lot of things happening right now. Would love to get your perspective.
I think there's several challenges when it comes to dealing with the immigration process. And you're absolutely right that recently you've seen a lot of things in the news. And the number one thing that we do is helping people navigate what is real and what isn't real, right? There's a lot of this concept of like the news is saying that this is really, really hard, or like now I have to pay this new fee, or there's going to be this new program, or administration's trying to change what how many people can come into the United States or what defines an immigrant. Well, we try to parse through all of those materials and really give you what I call the truth, which is that this is actually what the law says. This is how it's applied in practice, and this is how you as an individual can meet it. Because the biggest part to overcome is that there are so many different kinds of visas. There's so many requirements. Some of those requirements are actually criteria based, so they're a bit subjective. And it's incumbent on us, the attorneys and the legal firm, to really parse that out for someone like you, for example, to say that's how you. So that's the number one challenge, is just even identifying what is true and what is real and how you can actually utilize these pathways that the government has established.
Yeah, no, and so much is changing. You're right about that. I mean, it's amazing what's happened over the last couple of months. How are you when you do engage with a leader at a company or a number of hiring managers? Like, how are you helping them stay ahead?
Right. So we actually try to be extremely proactive compared to reactive. A lot of the times, the biggest feedback that us attorneys have gotten, even myself over the years, is I wish that you were a little bit more proactive rather than reactive, right? Sometimes when it comes to immigration, it's like, oh, something happened. Now I have to come to you and figure out something else. So nowadays, when you're saying, hey, like, what is it that we try to do that's a little bit different and how do we stay ahead? It's actually looking into the future or trying our best to, whether it's looking at data or looking at now regulatory agenda, which isn't even in place yet. It's just an idea or a plan, and doing our best to advise both clients and corporate clients how to establish a very resilient mobility and immigration program or roadmap for yourself. It is no longer enough to have just a plan A, let alone a plan B. It really should be a plan A, B, C, all the way to Z, right? Because the reality is that what we have learned, even in these past few weeks, let alone these past few months, is that immigration is ever evolving. There's a big difference between the law and what happens in reality and in practice. And those gaps are going to get wider and wider. So the best thing you can do is have as many pots going for you on the stove.
Yeah, that's such a great share. And I'm super excited about our partnership. I know we've done some events in New York and plan to do some more. Also, really looking forward to, having you host some other events around the country. And then we've talked about doing some thought leadership online as well, in the community. So just want to highlight you and the Manifest team. Super excited to get this partnership kicked off. If an individual in our community does want to reach out to you and have a conversation, how can they find you or the rest of the team?
So a great way to reach out to us is, of course, on our social media. If you actually look up Manifest Law, we have several different handles, really on Instagram and on TikTok and the like. So if that's the way you want to reach out to us, you can. But we also are very reachable through our website, which is manifestlaw.com. You can use our Contact Us platform, or you can even shoot us an email at help, HELP, at manifestlaw.com. So if you send a quick email, we're more than happy to answer as many questions as we can and get you set up on a consultation to have that conversation.
Amazing. Thank you, Nicole, for your time and look forward to this partnership.
For sure. Thank you for having me, Jesse.